The Formula Drift Championship at Evergreen Speedway is now halfway through, as we have seen some insane battles and key moments that are bound to play a major role. James Dean is still live in competition, but so is Frederick Aasbo. Odi Bakchis and Michael Essa are still in the hunt and have an outside chance at the championship if Dean goes out early. The stage is set. It's time to throw down in the Pacific Northwest. Only on Black Magic Formula Drift Pro Championship, presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. Hello Drift fans, and welcome back to the continuation of round 6 of 8 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship presented by Blackview Dash Cameras. I'm Jared Dienda. We're here at Evergreen Speedway, Monroe, Washington. Always some of the best fans in the business. Well, an interesting backdrop as well, because there's fires all around us. I'm not talking about just on track. Yeah, we'll have a smoke party of our own on track, but there are fires in Canada as well as Montana. The action's about to unfold. Let's get this party rolling. But before that, I throw it to my co-host, Ryan Sage.
All right, well, thank you, Jared. We're just about to get into the Grade 8, and the sun is starting to set, which means the track conditions are going to change. And with that, the drivers are going to have to change their setup, but they still want to maintain high levels of grip and also focus on making sure that their vehicles can navigate through this course without getting all the way down to no grip on their tires. Setup is going to be important as we move on into the final rounds, so let's get ready to get into the Grade 8.
Drifting is the only motorsport in the world that is based on judging, so let's break down how that works. In head-to-head battles, the lead driver is supposed to run a specific judging line with as much angle as possible. The lead driver is setting the pace, but the chase driver is supposed to utilize the lead driver as a moving clipping point. Wherever the lead goes, the chase should go too. After 2 runs with each driver leading once, the driver that was the most consistent, most aggressive, and was able to show clear dominance over the other driver will win the matchup. For rules, criteria, and more information on Formula Drift, head to www.formulad.com.
Our first battle of the Grade 8 is here. We'll whittle it down to 4, and then our finals. Who's going to get first place? Well, James Dean, can he make it a perfect event? He's got to go through his own Wordhouse Drift Team teammate of Peter Wiecek. Both are on Falcons, both are S15s, both want to get the win.
Well, this is a very interesting battle here, being that it is teammates, but James Dean, this is a necessary win for him if he wants to stay in the hunt for the championship.
Yeah, are there team orders in place here? James Dean going for a championship. Peter Wiecek not in contention, but right now they both are going for it as they drop into the power alley.
Peter bringing the fight to James Dean, but you can see the consistency out front of James is unparalleled. Very Frederick Aasbo-esque, but still Peter Wiecek putting up a fight.
Yeah, great lead run there by James Dean. Peter Wiecek, look at that, almost grinding his door with that Falcon tire. The smoke trail bound throughout the track. Now Peter Wiecek out front James Dean and chase.
Well, the key for Peter is going to be to have a better lead run than James Dean, and James needs to have a better chase run than Peter.
What a turn of events here if Peter Wiecek takes out his teammate, who's James Dean, going for the championship, and Peter Wiecek, big angle, but James Dean cannot be shook.
Great job by Peter on the bank, but like you said, James Dean is not falling back here. He's keeping the pressure on Peter, but this is a great overall battle.
This is going to be a hard one to decide for the judges. You could see here from the bird's eye view, both of them filling that outer zone. James Dean and Peter. Let's go to the Universal Technical Institute judging results, and James Dean is moving on.
Yeah, I just went against one of my best friends and my Wordhouse Drift teammate, Peter Wiecek. And that was just an all-out crazy battle from start to finish. We both went into the battle kind of knowing that, you know, one of us would be moving on to the final 4, so there was a little bit less pressure on us. And I think we both gave it everything we had.
Formula Drift on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Blackview Dash Cameras. And by Hankook Tire, driving emotion.
Welcome back to the Space Needle. These guys are ready for liftoff. We're talking about our next battle here in the Grade 8 as the fans are waiting to see who's going to move on. Matt Coffman, Dai Yoshihara. Matt Coffman qualifying 12th and Dai Yoshihara qualifying 20th. Ryan, this should be a fun one to watch. Both V8 cars, both really throwing down. Matt Coffman notably got 4th here last year.
Well, Daijiro Yoshihara, after one more time battle with Michael Essa, fought back, now finds himself in the Great 8, but Matt Coffman is on a roll as well.
And look at that, it says this machine was built for war on that wing, and Dai is getting an up-close and personal look at the back end of that S chassis.
Kaufman has just absolutely mastered that bank, now coming down with fluid motion to that outer zone, but Daijiro Yoshihara keeping the pressure on that inside clip.
I like what Kaufman's doing here. He is really throwing it down, but cannot shake Dai Yoshihara. Both of them getting out to the touch and go into that outer zone. Dai actually going a little bit deeper than Coffman as they cross the finish line. They're now going to change it up. Yoshihara in his turn 14 distribution, Falcon Tire, Super BRZ. It's a mouthful, and he's going to get a face full of smoke. Talking about Matt Coffman in the chase position.
Both drivers pretty even at this point. Oh, and Dai makes contact with the wall. You can see they're losing some of his bumper, and now a big separation here as Daijiro Yoshihara starts to run away.
He's shredding the body kit, but he stayed in it, into the touch and go, into the power alley. Dai Yoshihara and Coffman pushing hard and overshoots a little bit of that front clip.
Coffman did not get off to a good start. He fell back, then had to push very aggressively towards Daijiro Yoshihara, and then makes another mistake right there on that second inside clip.
Going to the Universal Tech to go into judging results, and Yoshihara gets the win.
Proximity-wise, I was pretty close. And then I think that was a pretty good follow. And when I led, I actually mistakenly hit the rear bumper when I initiate, but I just kept going. And it just worked out, and I think I made a pretty decent amount of gap, so that made me move on to semifinal.
2 drivers already in the Final Four. Who's going to join him? Will it be the Norwegian Hammer, Frederick Aasbo, or originally from Michigan, driving that Ford Mustang, Justin Pawlak in his Roush Performance Falcon Tire Ford Mustang?
Well, just like James Dean, every battle for Frederick Aasbo is either a benefit or a loss for the championship, so he's got to get through Justin Pawlak.
That hot hatchback, it looks like he has that back bumper lopped off, but he gets even closer to that wall. Pawlak right there on the door of Aasbo.
Pawlak surging forward, almost past Aasbo's front wheels there, keeping the pressure on, but once again, Aasbo out front, maintaining a very smooth and consistent lead run.
Justin Pawlak with a risk it, no biscuit kind of attitude. Watch him in this transition here in the power alley. He snaps back right to the door, bam, right there. Great execution by Pawlak, but now he's got the clean air. He's out front with Aasbo in chase.
Pawlak knew he needed to keep the pressure on Frederick Aasbo because Aasbo is going to keep the pressure on him, absolutely certain, right here into the bank.
Man, quickly that Falcon Tire smoke gets kicked up in the face of Aasbo, filling all of that outer zone into the power alley.
So far, so good here for Frederick Aasbo and Pawlak. Nice transition by Pawlak, very snappy. Frederick Aasbo keeping pace with them. Great. Oh, and then Pawlak shuts it down.
My goodness. All signs were saying Pawlak in my eyes. He was doing a phenomenal job, but one more clip away from potentially taking out the Norwegian Hammer. You see overhead? Boom, shuts it down. Obviously an issue, but going to the judging results, Aasbo's going to the Final Four.
I could feel him right there riding my door all the way down. And in my chase, I tried to chase him close, but JTP is one of those guys driving with tons of angle. I almost stole out behind him. Coming into the last turn, his car breaks down. I crashes into his back. That was all she wrote, and we're into the top 4.
The final battle of the Grade 8, Odi Bakchis versus Chelsea Denofa. Odi Bakchis qualifying 3rd in contention for the championship. He really needs to get past Chelsea Denofa, and Chelsea notably taking out the boss, Vaughn Gittin Jr., piloting that BC Racing Ford Performance Mustang RTR on Ditto tires.
Well, here we go. You can see Odi Bakchis into the bank, already nice and high, and now starting to reel him in there, it's Chelsea Denofa.
Wrightwood, California resident as Odi Bakchis Falcon Tires, V8 S14 in the right places. Chelsea is right there, rubbing his racing.
What a move right there by Chelsea Denofa to stay inside on the pocket, trying to attack, but unfortunately, he pushed just a millimeter too far forward and crashes into Odi Bakchis.
Bit off more than he could chew. Chomp goes into the side of Odi Bakchis, as now Denofa will be out front. Odi Bakchis in the chase position. All signs are saying that Odi Bakchis is going to advance on, but we're about to find out.
Well, this is an easy position to be in for Odi Bakchis. He's in the chase position. He doesn't need to keep massive pressure on Chelsea Denofa. He just needs to ride behind, but still giving a show for the fans.
Into that touch and go goes Chelsea Denofa. Odi Bakchis keeping a good distance between him. I mean, tight. Look at that. Bakchis not kicking back. Oh, Chelsea Denofa, a little flub there around that final front clip.
Well, for Bakchis, the first run gave him an advantage. The second run is going to give him the win here, and he's going to be moving on. He's still in the championship chase.
And there it is. Bakchis is going to the Final Four.
I've been noticing Chelsea's really aggressive in zone 2, and I think he just went really hard, you know, and ended up tagging me. Tagged me pretty hard, actually threw off the rear suspension. I need to run hard. I need to get the practice going in with Aasbo. I chased Chelsea pretty well and just kind of felt out my car after the damage, and we end up advancing.
Formula Drift on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Nexen Tire. Driving tomorrow. By Achilles Radial. Tires you can trust. By Falcon Tires. And by Universal Technical Institute. Chosen by industry. Ready to work.
Welcome back to Evergreen Speedway. The fans sticking around to find out who's going to get on the box. We're talking about the podium. The Final Four is here. Ryan Sage and all these Drift fans getting hyped. It's James Deane. Can he make this the perfect event? It's an all Falcon Tire battle because he's going against a former Formula Drift champion of Dai Yoshihara.
Well, we've said it once, we'll say it again. Every battle matters here for James Deane and holding on to the lead in the championship. And a big battle here against Daijiro Yoshihara.
That Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires S15 quickly initiating 71.7 miles per hour on the bank. Dai inching closer and closer to Big Mean Machine Deane.
Well, you can see once again James Deane very consistent out front. Dai trying to keep the pressure on here. There's a little bit of a gap established, and now you can see what James Deane needs to do in his chase position.
These things are rocket ships. Just hearing that wound up 2JZ and then the turbocharged LS under the hood of Dai Yoshihara, the fans are getting more than what they paid for. Dai Yoshihara out front and James Deane in the chase position. Who's going to the final?
Well, here we go. Daijiro Yoshihara down this long straight. Look at James Deane already eyeing him up, keeping it close on the bank.
Woo, riding the wall, riding the lightning. Look at Dai Yoshihara, great angle, but James Deane, is right as he drops down a little bit.
A little bit of a mistake there from Deane. We don't see that too often, and Deane almost crashes into Daijiro Yoshihara. Great bit of driving here, and then keeps the pressure on. Wow.
Keeping the composure is James Deane. It wasn't the prettiest, but let's look at this again here, Ryan. As you said, he dropped down, almost got to the side of Dai Yoshihara, into that front clip. Going to the judging results, they're going one more time. And the fans couldn't be happier. James Deane back out front, Yoshihara in the chase position.
A tense moment for James Deane, almost losing out to Daijiro Yoshihara, but here we go with the one more time, and Dai already keeping the pressure on the bank, trying to one-up last run.
The Irish flag and smoke is a-waving in the wind. Dai Yoshihara right there on the door of Deane as they go into the power lane, quickly expediting that touch and go.
Incredible battle here as James Deane wraps around that first inside clip. Now Dai trying to close the door here. And almost makes a big mistake through the finish line.
Yeah, you saw Dai Yoshihara. This was the beginning of the battle. Composed are both the drivers, but Dai Yoshihara almost rotating around across the finish line, but looks like he salvaged it. And Dai Yoshihara will be out front as Deane gives chase, and again, all critical points at stake.
So you've seen a couple little mistakes from each of these drivers. Now it's going to add up over the course of these two runs. James Deane chasing down Daijiro Yoshihara, who's doing an excellent job in the lead position on the bank.
Dai Yoshihara is really rising to the occasion right now. He knows he's going against James Deane, who's in contention for the championship, and Dai zeroes in on that front clip, and one more for potential glory.
Well, I have a feeling that last corner is going to play a very important role on that run with Daijiro Yoshihara in the chase position. But let's go to the judges' scorecards.
The Universal Technical Institute judging results, James Deane gets the win.
And one more time, I did a good lead run again, and while chasing, pushed hard. It wasn't perfect. There was some small corrections, but I think my proximity overall won the battle. So we had an amazing weekend, qualifying first and battling my teammate Peter Wiecek. It's just been pretty crazy. So to be on the podium is fantastic. Let's just enjoy it from here.
The other half of the Final Four bracket, who's to go against James Deane in the finals? Is it going to be the other contender for the championship, Frederick Aasbo, or Odie Bakchis. Odie will lead the pack.
Well, you know, James Dean is rooting for Odie Bakchis here. A loss by Frederick Aasbo would put him way far behind Dean and also move Odie closer.
Look at Odie Bakchis. Nice job by him. Aasbo kicking back a little bit. Let's see if he can apply the pressure as they go into the power alley.
Need to see Aasbo a little bit closer here, but now he's starting to close the door. But meanwhile, Odie out front hitting that outer zone and very tight on that inside clip.
Snappy transition going from that outside zone, and Odie rotates. It looked like it was a separate incident. Didn't look like any contact. Ryan, what do you think?
Well, you can see here Aasbo transitions, but Odie is already at full lock, is not able to make it around the turn. We've seen multiple drivers make mistakes in that final corner.
Well, the Norwegian Hammer has got to have a smile underneath his skid lid, his race helmet, because right now he has an advantage as he throws down into the big bank.
And being in the lead position here, Aasbo can control the pace. Odie pushing hard, nearly makes contact with Frederick Aasbo, and then makes a mistake in the transition.
So he was trying to push for it, and look at here, he comes back again as Aasbo. One more clip, and it looks like Aasbo will be seeing James Dean in the finals.
Valiant effort here by Odie Bakchis as he surges forward, keeps the pressure on Frederick Aasbo, but again, going back to that first run and that mistake.
Aasbo's going to the finals.
Went against Odie Bakchis, last year's winner here in Seattle, and I knew that battle was going to be tough. He had a crazy fast initiation. I wasn't quite able to hang with him on the first run, but in the very last turn, he spins out, giving us a huge advantage going into the second run.
Well, we are literally and figuratively firing on all cylinders. The finals are set. It's James Dean, the Irishman, leading the pack, and he's going against Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Aasbo. Who's going to get the win here in Seattle?
Formula Drift on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Nas, with Complex 6 for high performance energy. By Nitto Tire, fueled by enthusiasts. And by Blackview Dash Cameras.
Welcome back to Evergreen Speedway. Looks like Ever Smoky Speedway, as we have some forest fires going off in Canada and Montana, but we're going to make some smoke of our own. The finals are here. Can James Dean make this the perfect event? He qualifies #1, and he's going against second place in points, Frederick Aasbo, who qualified 7th. Ryan, here we go.
If Frederick Aasbo is able to beat James Dean here, he is going to make this championship very interesting. But on the other hand, if Dean wins, he's put a further gap ahead of him and Frederick Aasbo.
James Dean blending into the wall, blue and white. Look at that, tapping it, but staying in it. Aasbo keeps composure as well.
Great job so far by James Dean out front. Aasbo on the inside, attacking right here through that first inside clip. We've got a battle in the finals.
Two gladiators of the sport, some of the best drifters in the world throwing down. Look at this. You see them tap the wall, stay in it as they enter into the power alley. This is an exciting run so far. Now Aasbo will be out front. Ryan, who's going to stand on top? Send it.
Aasbo beat him in Montreal, and James Dean wants one back, and he wants to confirm that championship early. This is going to come down to this battle right here.
You can already see some battle damage on the door of that Rockstar Energy Toyota Racing Toyota Corolla IM, throwing some Nexen tire smoke in Dean's face.
A little bit lower there is James Dean, but certainly a lot closer as we come through this outer zone and this inside clip. James Dean keeping the pressure on Frederick Aasbo. Phenomenal lead run.
This is exactly what the fans expected, and they are getting what they paid for and more. You can see James Dean, whoa, really dancing with the devil. Let's go to the Universal Technical into judging results. Yeah, let's see him go one more time. So James Dean will be out front once again. Aasbo in the chase position.
Not surprised at all to see at least one more time here. Both drivers know what they need to do. Fix up little mistakes here and there and try to take home the win here at Evergreen Speedway.
Yeah, the judges really splitting hairs here. You can see Aasbo nosing into the door of that Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tire S15. Boom, filling that outer zone are both the drivers.
A back and forth battle between both competitors that don't make many mistakes here, and it really is going to come down to who makes the more fatal mistake over these two runs. Dean out front, consistent, gets out to that touch and go. Aasbo keeping the pressure on. Great battle so far.
Man, I'm getting the chills here. This is an exciting run, a hunt for the championship, a hunt for the victory here at Evergreen Speedway. Aasbo out front. Who's going to come out on top? Aasbo initiates, and James Dean right there.
James Dean already in the pocket here against Frederick Aasbo, now surging forward ever so close. Aasbo nice and high on the bank, and Dean doing an incredible job to avoid hitting Aasbo.
Good transition from Aasbo. Looked like he had a little bit more angle, really zeroing in, blending into those yellow hash marks. And one more clip. Ryan, do you think we have a victor?
Wow, once again, so hard to tell here. Dean doing a great job off the bank to maintain very close proximity without hitting Frederick Aasbo, and Aasbo, as always, solid lead run.
And there it is, James Dean 2-1 gets the win.
And with that, James Dean takes a commanding lead in the championship. Frederick Aasbo hanging in there in second, and Bakchis in third.
Well, the Seattle crowd said it, one of the best rounds of the year. What do you guys think? James Dean, that's 3 wins for the Irish driver. Frederick Aasbo gets second, and Bakchis gets third place. Ryan Sage is with our winner now.
All right, well, thank you, Jared. I am here with your winner, James Dean, win number 3. Now, after Montreal, Frederick Aasbo said you reinvigorated his spirit in drifting after that amazing battle that you guys had. He got you in this one, but you got him back, and now you're ahead in the championship by more than 55 points.
It's been a crazy weekend from start to finish. One of the most intimidating tracks for me all season, and we are lucky enough to qualify first. Battled my teammate Peter Wiecek in top 8, which was my favourite battle so far this year, and have one of the craziest battles of my life with Frederick Aasbo in the final. And I'm still buzzing, I'm still shaking, pumped on adrenaline right now, and man, this is a great year.
Your current leader here with the win at Evergreen Speedway, James Dean. For everybody at Formula Drift and Jared Deanda, we are done here in Seattle. Up next, Texas Motor Speedway.
And here's a look at the current standings. With that win, James Dean, 475 points. Frederick Aasbo in second. Christoph Blush in third. Auto Manufacturers Championship with a strong presence out front. Got Toyota, Ford, and BMW. And finally, our Tire Manufacturer Championship. Falcon Tires, the teal and blue, is in first. Nexen Tires and Achilles round up the top 3. Thanks for joining us here at Evergreen Speedway. We made some history of our own, and we'll make some history at the Lone Star State for our next round, the 7th round of the Formula Drift Championship. We'll see you there. In association with Formula Drift, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.